As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elesmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 53 of Running the Red Line. I am your host Brett, and I am here as always with my co-host Andy. And how are you doing this week, mate?
Not too bad, thank you very much. The weather's a bit better. Well, it's not. It's absolutely horrendous right now. So what I should say is the temperature's a bit better.
Yes.
It's. I don't know if you've been out today or not, but it's felt almost like, compared to recent times, it's felt almost tropical today.
Yeah. Last night
11,
out on
12
the run,
degrees.
Last night out on the run, it was like, I think it was 9 degrees. It was beautiful. Yeah.
It's really quite a pleasant temperature to run in. Like this morning, went out and had a bit of a drama. I'll talk to you about that in a second. But went out this morning, just did an easy run, got back in, literally was in like buckets of sweat. And I haven't sweated like that on an easy run since my shakeout in Valencia, which was about 26 degrees when I wore my coat. Oh, but I had an absolute stinker this morning. So Daisy survived by the skin of her teeth today, by a technicality, really.
Oh,
so
what?
Do you remember when she did a Houdini in Western?
Yeah. Yes.
She did another one today on a 60 mile an hour road. It was I can't tell you how lucky we all were today, right? So
what
a Houdini is, right? Brett found this out firsthand when we were in Western. We just run one of the Western halves a couple of years ago, and I was interested. Daisy, Laura and her family were in Western, and they got Daisy, and then she was like, right, we're just going on the pier. You're not allowed dogs. Would you mind having her for the afternoon? Me and Brett said, yeah, go on. We'll go to get fish and chips. All I have to do is look after a dog. That's fine. Look down. She wasn't there, but just her harness was. Do you remember that? We got up and she was just sat on someone's lap. She was just sat about 8 tables down. Someone from blooming Weymouth was feeding her. And I was like, oh, God. So basically today, we're about 3 minutes into the run. She stops to do a little business. She does a poop, but in the brambles. So I pick it up and I snag the bag. So I think, right, I'm going to have to double bag this. What I did was just to increase the tension, because she's got a habit of doing her business and then just trying to get away as far as possible from it. But we're on a pavement on a 60 mile an hour road, and we run on this for normally about 3 or 4 minutes, and then the rest of it's country lanes. But I'd sort of got my foot on keeping it tense while I'm fiddling about with a bag, trying to rip it and wetting my fingers to try and open the bag. And I feel all of a sudden that the tension's gone really slack. I look to my right, and she's doing like the blooming moonwalk, walking backwards, looking at me, going towards Worcester. And I just screamed, Daisy! And I think she could tell by my tone, this ain't a game.
Yeah.
And I'm so fortunate, because it couldn't have worked out any better, really, because right where we'd stopped was a temporary traffic lights, and we were in the middle of a changing light cycle. So there were no cars coming through.
That's good.
And she'd got about 10 foot away from me before I realized. And I think she thought she was in trouble. So she backpedaled into the middle of the road, and she's got no collar on, no harness. So I've got no way of like grabbing her.
Yeah.
So I had to get her by the scruff of the neck and like get her in my arms and like get her back onto the side of the road. but she didn't know what she'd done. I couldn't tell her off because she hadn't technically been naughty. But honestly, my heart was probably about 250.
Yeah.
That moment when you realise that you're no longer attached, it's that was as a dog owner, that was pretty terrifying. I should have learnt my lesson from Western, just to always have eyes in the back of my head. But sometimes when you're distracted, you can't. So,
well,
but yeah,
exactly.
She does this thing where she sort of like, she knows how to take it off. She sort of walks backwards and she sort of slips out of it that way. And she makes herself super thin and she brings her shoulder blades together and and she's so wily. She's so canny. And I was like, you little monkey.
Yeah.
And then, just carried on as if nothing had happened.
So you were doing a picking up some poop at zone 5.
Yeah. I'll have to look at my heart rate actually, but yeah. So that was frightening the actual life out of me. So that was today's run. But all's well that ends well. It's just so funny sometimes how I mean that's 2. I know she's not a cat, but it feels like she is. That's 2 out of 9 lives, I think, because the Western one, we were so close to a main road.
Oh man, yeah, that was crazy, and we both got up and were running around trying to find which. And
she was basically a puppy as well, so she could have just started to run home to blooming Worcester from Western. And then today happened, and but Laura, it's always me. It's always me that has. I told her this when I got back from the run. I said there was an incident, and she's like, "Of course there was," because it's always me that puts her in these extreme situations.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad, but I don't know. I'm not going to change anything, to be honest. I just need to be more. I just need to be more aware, and I just next time I know just to take my time and not ever lose sight of where she's at, because that was that's what I did. I turned my back on her, and then I guess it's like having kids with toddlers. You turn your back on them for a second, and then the next minute they're miles away. You're like, how'd you do that? So but we got back, and it was actually quite a nice run. Like I said, it was like quite balmy today, but the wind, we got out before it started raining today, about, I don't know, 9 o'clock or something. And it was just windy, but I'm so glad that it was, because it did cool me down, because I was thinking if it wasn't, it actually felt quite humid.
Yeah.
So I was quite pleased for the windy, blustery conditions today.
Yeah. Oh, just in time for your windy, blustery conditions on Sunday.
It's going to be horrendous. So yeah, I put myself in for the Bolton 10K, and I think loads of people have said they don't want to do it, because I got an email yesterday saying there's nobody else on the waiting list. So if you don't wish to do it anymore, you can't get a refund anymore. So I just feel like, I wonder if loads of people have dropped out when they've seen the weather forecast last week.
Yeah.
Because normally there's a bit of a waiting list. So I'm told anyway for Bolton. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be 40, 50 mile an hour winds apparently on Sunday morning. So yeah.
Let's hope they're all behind you and pushing you to that finish.
Yeah, but maybe after, later on in the podcast, we can have a chat about my best course of action for Sunday, because I at this point in time, I haven't got a clue what to do. So yeah. But anyway, how are you? How the devil are you?
Not a very happy Brett at the moment, to be honest. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't want to call it an injury, but it obviously is, from the past couple of weeks, has slowly got worse this week, and to the point where I'm limping today. So every step that I'm taking is hurting quite a bit. I'm in quite a bit of pain all around my calf and my lower leg. So yeah, I have no idea what I've done. I don't know whether it is definitely the nerve pain that I was thinking it was last week that's being caused by my glutes, or whether it's nerve pain being caused by a inflamed calf. I don't know whether I've done my calf muscle again, because it's the same one that I did at the end of last year. I don't know. I'm getting pain in my ankle, either side of my calf, down my shin, in my either side of my knee, in my IT band. It's everywhere.
As far up as your IT band?
Yeah. So it's mainly around either side of my calf and either side of my knee is the main points. But I am feeling it in other places as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I've done. So national cross country is off the cards tomorrow, I think. I think I've made the decision in the last couple of hours that there's no point in even trying to stand on that start line, knowing I'm nowhere near 100% fit, and knowing that by racing it I could wreck my marathon progress. So it's
think about the bigger picture.
It's probably the right decision not to race tomorrow, which I am absolutely gutted about, because I've been looking forward to nationals at Parliament Hill for a long, long time, the home of cross country, and I can't do it. Gutted.
Oh, absolutely devastating, because I know you've been looking forward to that for obviously the disappointment of last year, which didn't happen, and then
and it's only at Parliament Hill every 3 years, so it's going to be another 3 years before we're back there.
Really?
Yeah, because next year it'll be up north again, then the year after will be Midlands, and then back down to Parliament Hill.
Oh, is that how it usually works?
Yeah. So it mixes between the three every year. So
yeah.
But never mind. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? What can I do?
What is there any point of you going to see anybody, or do you think you just want to try and work it out on your own what the problem is first? Or
I rang up the doctors this morning to book in with the doctors, and they've got me an appointment with the first contact physio at the doctors, because I basically put in my thing to the doctors, because I went onto their online form, so you can either ring the doctors, get an appointment, or you can fill in the online form. So on the online form, I basically said I want to make sure that it's soft tissue damage and not bone related. So it's not a stress fracture or stress reaction or anything. So they've got me an appointment on Monday with the first contact physio, and hopefully he or she will either say yes, it's definitely soft tissue or nerve or something like that, or they'll send me for a scan and I'll get it sorted either way.
A silly question, but I take it with a stress fracture, you can only diagnose that through a scan. No one can have a prod around and say, that's a stress fracture. It's got to be done. To
actually know there's something wrong with a bone, definitely. It's got to be scanned. So fingers crossed it's not bone related, and I don't think it is, to be honest, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So I've booked in with doctors and we'll see what they say, but it's all a little bit annoying, but
at least it takes the pain away from your hernia.
Well, there is that.
Hernia's feeling great.
Well, I went to see Nat, didn't I? The physio last week, and she spent ages on my glute on the right hand side, because she said it was so tight, and she thinks it's because I've been compensating for my hernia on the front, so I've been loading the back. So that could have something to do with why my left hand side's gone. So my hernia's on the right hand side. So am I running differently or putting load onto my body differently on the left hand side to compensate for the right hand side hernia?
Do we think it could be the cursed Warwick half marathon that has got something to do with it?
I think that's where it all started, because the day after the Warwick half, I had a sore ankle and sore calf. So
you can't. It falls early on in the calendar, so I can't really, I think it's always been a February race, hasn't it, Warwick? I'm not sure, but you just wish it was slightly later, don't you? I wish it could have been a month into marathon training, but not everyone's going to be doing the Warwick Half Marathon who's in marathon training, are they? So,
No, exactly. Exactly.
But if you could ideally position a tune-up race, you'd probably want it early to mid-March, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And sometimes the first week of February, when it's like it was for us, it was 3-4 degrees, and although it was sunny, it was cold, and it's.
Yeah. And I've put on a pair of carbon shoes and absolutely smashed myself up hills, smashed myself down hills as fast as I possibly could, up the hill and down the hill. And I think that's where it's all stemmed from. I think I have done something to my calf, and also other things have come into play, and it's just all ended up with not being able to walk properly.
Yeah. So do you think, I mean, I know you can't answer this for sure now, but do you still think you will be interested to do the track season with club this summer? Because obviously your calf is a big part of fast running, isn't it?
Yeah. I in my head right now, yes, I want to, because I love doing the summer season. But I also have in my head that in December we're doing Valencia, so I need to be careful at the same time. So, but it all depends on. Sorry, I'm laughing because I've just seen a picture on the front of your mug.
So that is a legendary picture in our house. So that's me. That's me with hair, by the way. So once I said I don't know why, but I was like, I think I said to Laura, I just got a new camera or something, or she'd got a new camera. She's like, can I just test it out on you? And she's like, yeah. She's like, well, smile then. So I just went, I just did this sort of grin, and she hated the picture that much. I put it on a mug for her, so I got it for Laura for her birthday. The joke's on her now because I love it. It's my favourite mug.
Amazing.
Sorry, yeah. So
so I do want to do track season, but I do have in the back of my mind that we're doing Valencia in December. So, but the other thing is, if my appointment comes through for the surgery on the hernia, that might disrupt all of summer season anyway.
Yeah,
with 6 to 8 weeks.
I was going to say, have you looked into what the recovery period is or could be?
Yeah, they said 6 to 8 weeks.
So you'll do 6 to 8 days, and then you'll get
and be back out running Warwick Half again.
You'll do the hernia on the other side, won't you? I don't know. It all depends, doesn't it? Because that's the thing with this running lark, isn't it? The goal that you think is the goal isn't always the goal.
No,
so
exactly.
Valencia, it's not the end of the world if you're not in shape for Valencia, because you could always do Seville in February, or you could always do Manchester next April. You could always set your sights on something else in autumn, or Valencia the year after. There's always another one to aim for.
It's just, I suppose it's when you're pushing your body, especially when you get a bit older, when you're pushing your body to the limits constantly, then things are going to break down if you don't watch it. And I've stepped up the S&C, and I've really tried to look after my body, and I've looked after all the bits that I've normally go. So like the last couple of blocks, it's been my hips and my glutes and all my lower back and all of that area. That feels perfectly fine at the moment. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's all gone down to my lower leg. So I'm chasing it around my body. So obviously I need to step up what I'm doing on the lower part of the leg and sort that out as well and strengthen that.
Yeah. Oh,
Boba.
You've got company. Yeah, look at that perfectly. Knows who's the boss. Yeah.
Also, on that last note, what we were just talking about, before, like about your mug, I've got to show you something crazy. Right, give me 2
Oh,
seconds.
I'm excited. I genuinely don't know what he's gonna show me. Will it really be crazy? What could it be? Has he bought some Vaporflies?
Are you ready?
No, can't be that crazy. Yeah, go on.
Are you ready?
Yeah. No, turn round. What is going on? Where's your hair gone? You've only got a little bit more than me now. No, what, dude? It looks good though. It does suit you.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased.
How's it feel?
Weird at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I bet you'll get out the shower and think, oh, my hair's dry.
Oh no,
After 3 minutes.
I put on a jumper. Well, this jumper earlier, and went to get all the hair out of my jumper, but there was nothing there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what made you had such a radical change? Because how long have you had long hair?
Oh man, it's got to be 3, maybe 4 years now.
So since like lockdown, basically, or something like that.
Yeah. I haven't had my hair cut for about 2 years. Like at
That's
all.
mental.
But
that race I watched that I mentioned last week when you said you lost all your powers when you shaved off your tash.
Yeah.
You had sort of ear length hair then, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was
that's the last time I had my hair cut.
Was it? And that was fairly long then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks good though. It looks good.
Yeah. But basically I made the decision just before Christmas that I was going to do it, but I haven't got round to doing it. But what I've done is I've got the hairdresser to put some bands into the hair and chop it off, so I've still got the length of hair, and I'm going to send it to the Little Princesses charity who make wigs for little girls with cancer.
Oh, that's amazing. That's cool.
So I've saved the hair so I can send it off to them.
Nice. That's really nice. No, it looks good though, man. I genuinely did not recognize you. I was like, who's this?
When you told me to turn around as well, did you expect just a massive move?
Yeah. I thought you just got rid of the sides. I thought you'd gone Australian. I thought you'd gone for the I thought you'd gone for the Jared Rebecca.
Yeah.
Like 1997.
Good day, mate. Yeah. But yeah, there we go.
Love
anyway, should we get on to some running talk?
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you're not watching, Brett's cut his hair off. Yeah. It's all gone. It's
quite drastic, isn't it?
Yeah. Quite a drastic change. Yeah. So you're gonna have to go and buy things like what you're gonna have to style it with now. I mean, obviously I don't have this problem. So what are you gonna have to go and buy some like wax and stuff now? Or
I looked in my bathroom cabinet.
I was gonna say, you know who you need some tips from.
Who's that?
KQ.
Oh yes, I do. Yes.
That boy's got a barnet, hasn't he? Yeah.
He has. But no, I looked in my bathroom cabinet earlier, and there's still some matte clay from about, I don't know, probably 10 years ago in there, which I haven't touched since.
It's all gone rock hard.
Yeah. Well, I'll just get through that before I buy anything else.
Oh, fair enough. Well, yeah. Enjoy the new chapter.
Yes. Yeah.
Of no hair.
Well,
so yeah.
I said it's only hair. It grows back. If I want long hair again, I'll just grow it.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could go with that. Because if I grew my hair now, my problem was, I don't know when it happened. I think it was about when I was about 30. It was shortly after this picture. I just started thinning quite drastically here. And then I got the dreaded M shape. And then, as you can see there, you can see my original hairline there. So I actually have got quite, apart from the front of my hair.
Yeah.
I've actually got quite quite dark brown hair, and that's the problem when you shave your head, because after you get a real shadow within 6 hours or 12 hours, and but it just doesn't grow at the front anymore.
You'll just have to grow it really long and push it all forward.
I'd look like Bill Bailey if I grew my hair, and it's not the best look, really. Adds about 100 years onto you. So I just thought it'd be better just get rid of it. And if anyone is genuinely on the fence about wanting to shave their head, just do it, because I remember thinking, oh no, I don't know what I'll look like, and I look stupid with my thinning hair at the front. Just get it off. It looks much better once you get rid of it, and you feel, as you're feeling now, so much fresher and much more confident, really, because you don't have to worry about thinning and receding hairlines anymore. You just get rid of it all. So I'd say don't worry about it if you're worried about it. Nobody cares anyway.
No,
and people come up to you and say things like, "Oh, it suits you actually." So you think, well, you have to say that, don't you? But everyone says that, so it's fine.
Yeah, really the only person that really cares about what your hair looks like is yourself.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't, and you quickly get used to it. So but I did mine for charity for my my mug that I showed you last week, my first half marathon. I did that. I did a head shave the night before my race, and I got Laura to shave my head for me. And that was a strange moment, because I'd never ever shaved my head. I've never had shorter than the hair you've got now. And it was a strange moment. So what a nice surprise. That was something crazy for the podcast.
I know, it's a bit mad, isn't it? But there we go. Yeah. Things that have happened in the last week. Let's go through a few bits of running, I don't know, news.
Yes.
So last week we did talk about it, that it was coming up, and it was the Keighley Classic last weekend. So indoors at Birmingham. I think it was the NIA it was at?
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was, wasn't it? They had the Keighley Classic, but obviously Keighley managed to what did she do? She teared
it was a calf, wasn't it?
Tore her tendon in her hamstring. So that was disappointing. So she didn't actually do she was going to go for the 800 meters indoor world record, but obviously that didn't happen because she was out. But apparently, because she wasn't racing, she then spent all of her time out on like the track and talking to fans. So people actually got more interaction with her. So some people actually preferred her not racing because they actually got to interact and talk to her and take photos with her and things. So that's quite cool at the same time. So she still played a massive part of it. But then she's got to, hasn't she? It's named after her. She was the main performance, weren't she?
Yeah.
But there we go. The star attraction. But of note, the one thing that I've got of note in the distance running during that meet was Neil Gorley broke the 1,000 meters indoor British record. So he ran. Have you seen what time he ran?
No.
So this
1,000 meters.
1,000 meters. So 1K, which would have been 5 laps of the track.
Sub 2:30.
Yeah, he ran 2:16.
Oh my god! What record?
For a K. That was the
what
British
record is that? British record.
Yes, the world record's faster than that.
That's rank. That's disgusting, isn't it?
I know, can you imagine?
I've never ever gotten anywhere near that for a second, let alone 2 minutes 16. That is. How do you train for that?
I don't know. But he's a what's called, isn't he? He's a 1,500 meter runner. So I suppose it's 2/3 of that race, isn't it? So whatever
Yeah.
effort you put into your 1500, you just step it up another gear, don't you? And
Yeah. Because that's 1,000. That must be that's pretty much over in the blink of an eye, isn't it? 218. Yeah, that's it's a decent time, that is, Neil. Yeah.
but
Did Georgia Bell race as well?
yes, she won the women's 1500.
Yeah, I remember seeing that Keely was
She
mentioning
was
her.
within a second of Laura Muir's British record, but she didn't quite get there.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there was some good racing there, and I think they also had some field events as well. So there was like the long jump, and the high jump, and not high jump, the pole vault and stuff like that.
Right.
So
that's a good question. If you could choose a field event to do at the Olympics and be good at and smash, what are you choosing?
Don't know. The pole vault's pretty cool, isn't it?
Pole vault's got a certain amount of coolness with it. Yeah. I've always wanted to be. At school, I always really wanted to be good at the triple jump.
Yes.
And I always thought I was, but I don't think it was. But I think when you see a triple jumper, and you think, how are you covering that distance?
Yeah.
Because
can you remember watching Jonathan Edwards do it at the Olympics? He was incredible, wasn't
he? His world record stood for a long time, didn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's still the world record.
Is it still never been broken?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Possibly not.
Because was he around about sort of 98? No, sorry, 2000 to about 2000 and no, he's before that, wasn't he? 96. Sorry.
Triple jump world.
Where were the games in 96? Atlanta? No, somewhere in America, wasn't it? Was it Atlanta?
I think it possibly was, wasn't it? Yeah, world record holders Jonathan Edwards, 18.29 meters or 60 foot.
60 feet. Wow.
Yeah. 18.29 meters.
It was Atlanta. Yeah.
Crazy.
That year, Michael Johnson won the 200 and the 400.
Yes,
he did.
To
win both events. Because it isn't, the 400 isn't obviously a sprint, is it? But like, a lot of athletes you see doing the 1 and the 200.
Yeah. It's
the 2 and the 4.
It's that bridge between sprint and middle distance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it like I saw some people having a discussion, and they were saying, where do you think at what distance does Kipchoge start to beat Usain Bolt?
At what distance?
At what distance? So obviously he's got no chance at 100 meters. He's got no chance at 200 meters. But at what distance do you think he would start to beat Usain Bolt?
Well, Usain, I imagine, would be like a cheater, wouldn't he? He'd be like starting to get tired after 200, really.
Yeah.
So you'd fancy
400 meters.
Yeah. You'd fancy Kipchoge in the 400, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Which is mad, really, when you think about it, isn't it?
We should set that up. That's
yeah.
Around the Abbey Stadium, we'll see if we can get them down.
Yeah, but sprinting and middle and long distance running are completely different sports. They're completely different sports. The training for them is completely different. Have you ever seen sprinters training and what they actually do?
Well, I imagine a lot of it's plyometric, is it? And a lot of it is explosive and
but when they're on the track and they're practicing their sprinting on the track, it's quite funny because obviously we share the track down at Abbey Stadium on the same nights that they're doing their training, and they'll do 100-meter sprint and then sit down for 5-10 minutes recovering to flush out everything so they can then do it again. And during that 5 to 10 minutes, we've just been doing laps and laps and laps and laps and laps and laps.
Yeah.
And then they get up, absolutely smash 100 meters and then sit down again and rest. And they'll probably run, I don't know, 400 meters across the whole night, whereas we've done several mile on the track.
So are they literally just sat down recovering then? They're not on their feet recovering. They're not like
they
doing a gentle jog.
Sit down.
Oh,
some of them bring like deck chairs and stuff to sit down in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, since I've got some of the USA Atlanta 96 stats in front of me, I'll just reel a few off. I remember watching the Atlanta 96 games, actually.
Yeah.
Because there's something special about the August Olympic Games, isn't there? Especially when you're a kid. Because in 96, I would have been, 11? So I remember watching that on my summer holidays, and I remember loving the whole games. Rowing, Matthew Pinson and Steve Redgrave on gold in the men's coxless pairs.
Yes.
Track and field, Cole Lewis won his 9th and final Olympic gold medal. I didn't think he was still going in 96, but he obviously was. 197 nations participated in the games, which was 28 more than the previous Olympics. USA won the most medals with 44. Do USA always clean up now, or is it China? Who's at the top of the medal table usually?
It depends whether you work on the USA's way of doing the medal table or the official way of doing the medal table.
Oh, it's golds first and then...
Yeah, so the official medal table is who's got the most golds is first, no matter how many medals you got. If you got more golds than everyone else, you are first on the medal table, and it goes off golds. And then if you've got equal golds, it then goes off the amount of silvers. If you've got equal silvers, goes off the amount of bronze.
They do a cumulative, do they?
But USA always go off who's got the most medals overall, because then they get up the top of the medal table.
Because they've got 20% of the field in every event.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So, get this. Shaquille O'Neal, do you remember Shaq, the basketballer? Shaquille O'Neal tested positive for cocaine after eating a poppy seed muffin. Why does that come up in the
that's where they make opium from, isn't it? Poppy seeds. So poppies are where opium comes from, the drug.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. I bet you he's like, I need to go and have some poppy seed muffins before this drugs test. Where can I get some poppy seed muffins from? Quick. Someone buy me a poppy seed muffin, quick. Yeah, I'm sure it was the poppy seed muffin shack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But that was, I remember that game. So that was really, really good. So yeah, Johnny Edwards, 60 foot.
Yeah, I know. It's mental, isn't it? 18.29 meters, was it?
Was Crazy. It Michael Johnson famously with his gold Nike shoes?
Yes.
And were they custom limited edition? No one else has had them.
He was the only one that had them, yeah. But talking to Michael Johnson, that's going to be exciting this year. The Grand Slam track.
What's that? What's going on?
Do you not know about the Grand Slam track meets that's going to happen this year?
No.
Really?
What, you mean like all the greats of the track across the years or something?
No. So do you know how there's diamond leagues and stuff across each year? And that's the World Athletics meets that then decide who go through to the Diamond League final and everything. And it's a way of people competing throughout the year rather than just doing like the Worlds and the Europeans and stuff. They have like the Diamond League. Michael Johnson basically said, we need to shake up the sport and get it more popular within popular culture and get people who don't normally watch sport excited for sport. Well, not sport, athletics. You need to get people excited for it and get viewers into it. So he came up with the idea of starting a league called Grand Slam Track. Yeah. And the way that it works is in each event, there's going to be 8 people competing in each event. But 4 of them are signed to Grand Slam Track. So they will do every meet, all 4 of them. And the other 4 are contenders. and they could change each meet, so it won't necessarily be the same 4 contenders across each meet.
Yeah.
And after each meet, there'll be a meeting winner, and then they'll go down in order to 8th. But then over the whole thing, there'll be a Grand Slam track winner at the end who have got the most wins and most points. But everybody competes in 2 different events. So each meet is over 2 days, and everybody competes over 2 events.
You have to have 2 events.
Yeah. So the one that I'm excited about is obviously the middle distance one. So
The 8 and the
1500
15.
meters, but they do the 800 and the 1500 meters. So the
Yeah.
one day they'll run the 800 meters, the next day they'll run the 1500 meters, and
The
it's
same field.
same 8 people at each meet do both. So you could win the 1500 meters, but come 8th, 7th, or 8th in the 800, and then your points won't be that high, so you won't win the meet.
Yeah.
So it makes it quite exciting, because somebody who's not so good at the 15, but he's really good at the 8, could do a decent 15, but win the 8 and still be at the top of the leaderboard and everything. So it's quite exciting. And the 1500 meter and 800 people that they've got signed for the men, one is Josh Kerr.
Yeah.
The next is Yared Naguse.
Yeah.
The next is Cole Hocker. So basically got all 3 medalists from the Olympics. And then the other one who is signed is it Marco Arop, who was the winner of the 800 at the Olympics.
Oh, I don't remember him. Oh, right. Okay, that sounds exciting.
Yeah. And then obviously each meeting, they'll have 4 contenders who are against them. So hopefully it'll be people like Hobbs Kessler and people like that who are like at the top of the game.
Noah Lyles and stuff.
Well, the sprint events are 100 and 200. So everybody will run 100 and a 200 over the weekend. Then there's short hurdles where they'll do a 100-meter sprint and 110-meter hurdles. There's long hurdles where they'll do a straight 400, and then the next day they'll do 400-meter hurdles. So it looks like it could be really exciting as an event. But I can't believe you've not heard of it, because it's
never.
quite a big thing.
Is it new? First.
So this will be the first year. But
is there like a host nation or city?
Well, it's mainly in America, which some people have complained about, because obviously it's better for American athletes. So a lot of the athletes that have signed are either American or based in America.
Yeah.
Because of the traveling. But the first event's going to be in Kingstown in Jamaica.
Ah, right. Okay.
So yeah, it looks quite exciting. But yeah,
is there going to be TV coverage or online coverage or?
Yeah, they've recently got a TV and streaming contract. I can't remember who it was with. That they'll be streaming and broadcasting all of the events.
And is it over like a week or something like that? Over 2 weeks or?
No, so the first one will be, I think is it next month? The first one will be in Jamaica, and then it will be dotted throughout the next couple of months. So I think it's one a month, maybe. But yeah. So it is Kingston in Jamaica. Then the next one's in Miami. The next one's in Philadelphia. And the last one's in Los Angeles.
Right.
So there we go. April the 4th is the first one.
Yeah.
May the 2nd is next one. May the 30th, so the end of May. And then June the 27th is the last one.
Oh, it could be quite an interesting watch then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, good stuff. That sounds really good.
Obviously, Jacob didn't sign.
Yeah.
Number one, because he is very well looked after by the Diamond League, and this is going to be a direct competitor to the Diamond League. Yeah. So he gets paid very well to go and perform and show up at all the Diamond Leagues, so he hasn't. And also, I'm not sure he wanted to travel over to America for all of the races, seeing as he's based in Europe. But all the people who have signed, like Josh Kerr, Yaron Naguse, Cole Hocker, Marco Ayrot, they're all based in America. So it's a bit easier for them, isn't it?
Yeah. I will have to wait and see how it goes. Yeah. No, I wasn't aware of that at all. So it's Michael Johnson's baby, did you say? It's like his brainchild sort of thing. Yeah.
And he's got investors on board, and the prize money is quite big compared to other athletics events. They've stepped up the game with the prize money, and due to that, the Diamond League this year have raised all their prize money.
Yeah, right.
So it's quite interesting how
that's good though. I think I hate to say it, but when there's more at stake, when there's more money available, quality improves, and so does entertainment.
Yeah,
I think they've just got to make sure it keeps its integrity, and because you could argue that's happened with football now. There's all the integrity's gone out of it because there's so much money and so much investment that it's not relatable anymore like it used to be in the 90s.
Yeah,
but hopefully if they can just keep it exciting, because then people will obviously love that.
But if you think about athletics compared to any other sport, really the prize money is awful when you think about it. Because last year at the Diamond League, they were getting like $10,000 for winning, whereas you go and win the tennis Grand Slam and you're getting 100,000 or something like that. And when you think about it, it's nonsense, really, isn't it? That they're getting such small amount of money for being the best in the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out what the prize money now. Prize money. Wimbledon. I'd love to know what that is. What is the prize money for? Wow. Okay. The total prize money at Wimbledon is 50 million for the first time ahead of the 2024 championships. Winner of the men's and women's singles title, so it's the same, which is quite good to see, is 2.7 million each.
See what I mean?
The runner-up is winning 1.4 million. I mean, that's a quick Google search, so it might not be wrong, might not be right. But yeah, I mean, if you're getting a couple of grand for training for potentially the race of your life for the last 10 years and putting it all on the line for 10K, it's not quite, something doesn't quite marry up there. Let me
have a look. World Athletics Championships. There we go. World Athletics this year. So they've put the prize money up for this year. And this year, gold medalists in the World Athletics Championship will receive 150,000 for winning
150.
gold.
Wow.
So they'll get 150,000. But if you win Wimbledon, you get 2.5 million.
Yeah, where's that money coming from? That's ridiculous.
Isn't it?
Well, again, quick Google search, so it might not be right. We might be spreading fake news here, but no surprise that over the 7, what are we at 7 official marathon majors now? Yeah, we are, aren't we? $20 million has been given out in the past 35 years in prize winnings at the Boston Marathon. And the Boston Marathon has got the largest prize purse of the Abbott World Marathon Majors.
Yeah.
At $868,500. 868,500. Yeah, so that's
total prize pot. That isn't
total prize pot. Yeah, so divide that by 35 years. Obviously, it's getting more and more each year. But I imagine what's the isn't there I think they dangle this carrot in Valencia. If you get a world record marathon, if you get a world record at Valencia, I think you get paid. Isn't it like Can't be 100k. What is it?
They were offering $1 million.
$1 million. Wow.
If you broke the world record at Valencia. But the world record is 1 hour and what is it, 30 something seconds?
What do you mean for the marathon?
Yeah.
So including Kipchoge's time?
2 hours. Yeah, because it was Kelvin Kipton broke it, didn't he, in Chicago?
Didn't he 2 hours 35 or something like that?
2 hours and 30 something seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see why they were offering $1 million if you break that.
Wow. This could bring us on nicely to our next segment, because that, I know sadly we said this ahead of Kelvin last year, but it could be tumbling, couldn't it? That 2 hour record.
Yeah.
And it could be happening at London.
Possibly, yeah. Right. On that note, I've just looked up what the prize money for London Marathon is. What do you reckon the winner of London Marathon gets?
100 grand? No, wouldn't be 100k, would it? Well, no, 50 grand.
Yeah, 55 grand. Well, $55,000, so £44,000.
Yeah, it's not that much, really, is it?
No.
When you think about it, that's it's pitiful, really. When you think about how much money is involved, you know, how many people are paying to be there, and you know, you just think, where's all the money going, sort of thing. But yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? There's not much incentive to win these majors. But if you win 2 or 3 across the year, then that's not a bad year for you, is it, financially? But
yeah. But going back to what you were saying, yes. So Jacob Kiplimo, who is debuting at London, so he will be making his marathon debut. He was the previous half marathon record holder from 2021. I think he broke it first of all, and he held the record until last year when Yomif Kajelcha, I really struggled to say his name, Kajelcha.
Yeah, I think that's right. He was the one he did the Valencia half, was it?
Yes. What, this weekend? He did the Barcelona 10K whilst Kiplimo was doing the Barcelona half this weekend.
But didn't Kajelcha break the world record last year?
Yes, he did, yeah.
So he was, before last week, the world record holder, I think.
Yes.
Kajelcha, yeah.
So Kajelcha was the record holder because he broke Kiplimo's record by 1 second last year. Yeah. So he held the record of 57 minutes and 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And Kiplimo had run 57:31. So, Kiplimo turns up to Barcelona this year as his warm-up for London, and doesn't just take 1 second off the world record again, decides to take 48 seconds off the world record and run under 47 minutes. Not 47, 57 minutes. He ran 56:42 for a half marathon.
He's on the poppy seed bagels, isn't he? What?
56:42 for a half marathon.
So what did you say that is off the world record?
48 seconds he knocked off.
So it's 2 seconds per kilometre, isn't it? I know it doesn't sound a lot, but at that pace.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
And to put that into perspective, that is 4:19 a mile. 4 minutes and 19 seconds per mile, or 2 minutes and 41 seconds per kilometre.
That's not far off. Is it Neil Gurley? Is that his name? That's not far off his 1,000 metre pace, really. It's only a little bit slower, which is absurd. Did you see any of the Did you see the footage? He wore Vaporfly 3s, I think. Alpha Fly 3s?
Yeah.
Alpha Fly 3s. He's a Nike athlete, isn't he? But some of the things I read about his splits, like I'm sure I read that between 5 and 15K,
Yes, they thought he did, but it then got adjusted because the times came through wrong. So
Okay.
They thought he'd broke the 10K world record between 5K and 15K, and that would have been superhuman to break the 10K world record in the middle of a half marathon. But yeah,
Yeah.
the times that they listed were adjusted because for some unknown reason the times came through wrong. But he still broke the 15K world record on the way to the half marathon world record. So he broke 2 world records at the same time. But yeah, he split. He went through 5K in 13:34. He then went through 10K in 26:46. Went through 15K in 40 minutes and 7 seconds, which is a new 15K world record, which is faster than himself because he broke the 15K world record last year, right? So he broke his own 15K world record and then ran another, another 6.5K. It then went through 20K in 53:42 to then come through in 56:42.
That is just. I'd want more than 50 grand for that. That's ridiculous. He probably didn't. At Barcelona, for me, probably got about 50 quid, didn't he? 50 euro. Here you go, mate. Have some paella. To be a class ahead of the streets ahead of your competition and only taking a bit of pocket change home.
Did you see how he did it as well? Because they had a pacer who set off at the start with them all, and the pacer was pacing them for 57 minutes. And he decided he was feeling good after about 2K and dropped the pacer and just went off on his own.
Wow.
But lots of people have been saying all sorts of things about it. They've been saying like he was too close to the timing car, so he was getting wind assistance, so the car was blocking the wind from him. But there was no wind. It was a perfect temperature day.
That's people trying to find
and
where he
apparently
could have gained an advantage. Yeah.
The rules are, I think the car has to be at least 3 meters away from you, and I think he was at least 3 meters for the whole race. So, but but it's just mind-boggling that someone can run that fast. Because if you've seen any clips of him as well, he just looks effortless. He looks like he's running a 5K. He's going that fast.
It's the stride length that baffles me. It's like he's covering so much distance. Well, if he's 1.5 twice, probably about, I'd say he's probably about 160% faster than me. So if he can run 15K in 40 minutes, did you say?
15K, 40 minutes and 7 seconds.
So, I mean, obviously I can't run 10K in that time, but his stride length must be half as big as mine again.
Yeah.
That is just, I can't, but that's like literally bounding, isn't it? That's like watching a gazelle or a deer.
Yeah.
That must be so anyway, he's lining up in London.
Yeah.
And he's young as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only 24.
Yeah.
I think. But what's crazy is if he can run a half marathon in 56:42 to break the world record, he's got to go through halfway in 60 minutes. That's 4 minutes and 18 seconds slower. So surely that's going to be like a jog for him to go through in 60 minutes.
What's your rule? Double your half marathon time, add 6 minutes, 8 minutes.
Well, add between 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah. So if you double his half, that is 1 hour.
12.
1 hour 52. 1 hour 52.
Yeah.
53. Let's say.
Yeah.
Plus 8 minutes. That's 2 hours and 1 minute.
Yeah.
But Kelvin Kiptum didn't run a half marathon that fast and ran nearly 2 hours.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
It is, but at the same time, it's a bit mental. Because how is that? How is it possible? How is it possible that you can run that fast over a half marathon?
It's bonkers. I can't. I don't know. We can all speculate, but if he's road legal and if he's passing tests left, right, and centre, then
that's the thing.
He's keeping his nose clean, and you can't really knock him if he's staying on the right side of the law.
Yeah,
which is mental. Sorry, to nearly a minute off the half marathon. That's a lot, isn't it? Because we all said that with Tigsta Sefa, didn't we? We all said that with some of the female, and we thought, how are you doing this? Because he didn't even have new shoes on. Like, he didn't even have any new tech or. Well, I mean, didn't you say he beat his own PB by over a minute? Is it about a minute?
So Kiplimo's old half marathon record was 57:31, and he's ran 56:42. So he was 49 seconds faster than his old fastest.
Yeah,
and he broke his 15K record from last year. And ran another 6.5K.
I don't get it. So since I was talking about Daisy having a poo, he's finished a half marathon because we're at 1 hour 30 now. That is just obscene, isn't it? That's absolutely bonkers. Well, there were a couple of others who ran the Barcelona half. I think Ben is running did as well.
Yes, yeah.
And I know he ran a PB. I think
he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he was running it for Brooks, I think, wasn't he? Because it's a Brooks event.
I think it possibly was. Yeah. And he was running in their new super shoe, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what the name of it is.
I think it's the Hyperion Elite PB or something like that.
Right. Well, I saw some of his footage, and he looks really good. I don't know if his video is out yet or not. I don't know if he's released his video, but if not, if it is, then I'll have to go and watch it. But also in Spain last Sunday, there was the FOD runner, Andy Rayner, ran a half marathon. I don't know his official time, but his Strava time here was 1:15 flat. So I don't know if that's exactly the same as his chip time, which is, I don't know what the mile equivalent is, but for the 21, well, he logged here 0.3K. He ran an average of 3:31 a K for the half marathon, and that's with an elevation as well of 140 meters. So
it's going well, that isn't it?
Looking at his sort of elevation graph, it looked like quite a hilly one, especially there was a big hill at the start. So
didn't he come like 14th as well?
Yeah. He said he came really close to the front of the field.
Yeah, because that was in Alicante, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it would have been quite warm as well, probably like temps. What I had for Valencia, it's not very comfortable to run that long in. So props for him for doing that and that fast. But it looks like, again, according to his Strava, he was in the Puma DV8 Nitro Elite 3.
Yeah.
Which I am so tempted to have a look at, because, but I'll be honest, I don't need any more super shoes because I've got two really good pairs. But
when has that ever stopped anyone?
I know. But yeah, so congratulations to Andy. I might actually bump into him on Sunday because I might actually bump into him on Sunday. I mean, he'll be finishing 7 or 8 minutes quicker than me. Well, at least, but maybe I'll see him before or afterwards. But he's down to run Bourton, on Sunday, so I'm sure he's come back to UK with a bang.
Yes,
he's back to these horrible temperatures after the lovely,
slightly different weather.
So yeah.
Yeah, just to quickly go back to the Barcelona half as well. So, do you know Yomif Gelcher lost the half marathon world record
Yeah.
to Jacob Kiplimo? It was only a few days after he lost the world indoor mile record to Yared Nuguse and then Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
It's
So
been a
in a
bad
week, he's
week.
lost 2 world records, and then he was within, I think he was within half a minute of the world record on his 10K. So he was very close to breaking the world record for the 10K. Didn't quite do it, and then got 2 world records taken off him.
That's a bad week, isn't it?
It's not a great week, is it? But on the subject to world records as well, in 6 days after the Millrose Games, and him breaking the 3,000 meter world record,
Yeah,
Grant Fisher, then was it at the BU Valentine meet? I think it was. He broke the indoor 5,000 meter world record, which has been held since 2004. So it was a 21-year-old world record. And do you know who held it until
Jonathan Edwards?
No, but if you think of London Marathon and recent announcements, then you might know.
Kenenisa Bekele? No.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah. So Kenenisa Bekele held the indoor 5,000 meter world record of 12 minutes and 49 seconds in 2004, and it's been that record for 21 years, and Grant Fisher has just broken it with 12:44, so he knocked just under 5 seconds off.
Wow. Must be a great feeling as an athlete to have a record like Big Johnny Edwards that's lasted so long. It's a big legacy, that is, isn't it? That really says how not ahead of their time, but how far ahead of the field they were at the time of setting that. Because you think about what's come, it's even more impressive, isn't it, that a record was set 20 years ago and it's been so hard to beat. Because you think about supplements, you think about kit, you think about, I don't know, all sorts of.
Think about the track itself, how technology has changed in the track. Shoe tech has completely changed. So spikes on the track are completely different to what they were. Nutrition is now completely different. There's now things like bicarb that people are using and all that sort of stuff. So to do it before those days and with all the old tech and everything, it's super impressive, isn't it? I mean, that's why the 1,500 meter world record is so impressive, because people still can't beat it at the moment. Like Jakob Ingebrigtsen still can't get close to it. Yeah, and it's been held for so long.
Yeah, it's all the more. You must just sit there and watch these athletes try and get close to your record, knowing they ain't going to touch it for another few years yet. So, but yeah, so it'd be really interesting to see what goes down in London. Is a little part of you tempted to, like, you know, a bit like football fans on the last day of the season, they take a radio. Are you tempted to take like some shocks with you and like listen to BBC iPlayer live so you can listen to the race?
Yeah, that I was saying I was saying this the other day. I can't wait to get back and then watch like the replay of the race.
Yeah,
it's going to be a great one. Yeah, it's going to be a really good one.
Do you think any of your family will be able to get down for it, or are you just going to literally go down and come back? And
I think I'm just going to go down and just stay down there. I'm going to try and see if I can get a hotel on the Sunday night as well, so I don't have to travel back on the Sunday straight after running the marathon. I can take it a bit easier and then travel back on the Monday. But I know quite a few people who are doing London. So hopefully it will be quite good after the race, just to meet up and say hello to everybody, maybe have a drink or something before we all go off our separate ways. So it'd be quite good.
Take the Obi-Wan bus down there, park it on the mall.
Yeah. Do you know, I did think about that, but I can't think of anything worse than rolling out of a camper van bed to go and run a marathon fast.
Yeah.
And
But
where'd you park it?
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Yeah. What was your thing about? You said something about it's almost scientifically proven that getting a bad night's sleep before
Yes.
your marathon race day
Yeah.
doesn't really impact you that much.
Yeah.
It's
The
more about the
night
week
before.
before or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the cumulative sleep in the week before. If you've had a terrible sleep all week, it's going to affect your race, but just terrible sleep the night before the race apparently doesn't affect your race in any way.
Yeah. Because how many races have we all had where we've all been flustered or late or just things have gone really bad. You've had a terrible night's sleep.
Yeah.
And
I don't think
you've
I've
had the
ever
race
slept
of your life.
well before a
No.
marathon. Ever. I've woken up numerous times throughout the night thinking I've slept through my alarm, all sorts. I have the worst night's sleep ever before a race.
Yeah, it's just part of the marathon experience, hasn't it? Having a bad night's sleep. So yeah, don't worry too much if that's you, if you're going to be having a bad night's sleep, because it happens to us all. So yeah, dare we talk about our week of training? Because I know yours has been somewhat halted.
Yes, well, it's been halted from last night, so actually I've got a full week of training to talk about.
Oh, okay, good, yeah, cool.
So that's good. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, okay. Well, starting by where do we get to? Was it Parkrun last week? I think.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said to me, I can't remember for what reason, but you were like, I quite fancy doing a different parkrun today. Do you want to do one? So I was like, well, I think I quite fancy Worcester Woods if you fancy that. And you were like, yeah, all right. And that turned out to be a bit interesting, didn't it?
It did indeed.
So it was like a quagmire. I've never seen. Well, it wasn't that bad, to be honest, but it wasn't perhaps fast road shoe friendly.
No.
And I bought. What did I wear? My old Takumis. I think I wore my old Takumi 10.8s. Luckily, I didn't wear my white ones, my 10s. But I actually did really quite well. Considering the mud, I only was 2 seconds slower than the chasing 20 attempt I did around my birthday, September just gone.
Oh, really?
So I was only 2 seconds off it, yeah. And I thought that I'd done really badly because my GPS, I don't know what happened to it, but I was 400 meters short. And the splits, you know, when you just think I'm calling BS on some of these splits, because I looked at one of my splits and it told me I'd done 5 minute K or an 8 minute mile. And I thought, this don't feel like I'm 8 minute miling. So what I think it was doing, I think it was telling me a kilometer split. Well, if it was 400 meters short, it was giving me 1,100 meters as a kilometer, I think. And that was what it thought was a kilometer.
Okay, yeah.
So I think each K was 20, 30 seconds slower than the split I expected. So when I crossed the line, I was expecting my watch, because I was believing, well, I wasn't believing it, but I was thinking, oh, this hasn't gone that well. So I was thinking that I would have crossed the line in 22 and a half minutes, to maybe close to 23. And across the line, I did 21:15, 21:16. So I was like, oh, okay. So it wasn't that bad at all. So especially when there are trees and you're off grid, you can't, and you're wearing a Garmin, don't take what your watch says as verbatim. So
that's why, and I've seen this quite a few times recently, people going out and doing a time trial around a park or around a local loop or something like that, and they do it on their watch off GPS and then claim it as their PB. And I'm like, yeah, you can't really claim a GPS PB unless you've gone out with a trundle wheel and walked around that park loop or around that road loop and measured it exactly, and you know the exact distance, I wouldn't be claiming it as my PB over that distance.
Yeah. It's just GPS is just it's not accurate, is it? It's never accurate. It can't be, really. I mean, there are certain brands out there that are more accurate than others, I think.
Yeah.
And certain models of certain brands are even better.
Yeah. But the smallest of things can throw them out. Like going through the woods can throw it out. Going through the city and your signal being bounced around the buildings.
Like I ran a 2-lap course identically, and look how different that map. Can you see like the where it looks like I've cut a corner, or I don't know how it's got it so wrong.
Yeah, there's bits down in London in Canary Wharf, and you'll run through Canary Wharf, and it will say you've done a 4-minute mile.
Yeah.
So never trust GPS to give you accurate distance. Yeah,
it took me a while to realize actually my fastest ever mile wasn't during the Metz 10K that I did in France the week before Amsterdam, because I looked at it and it said I'd done about a 6-minute mile, and I was in 47, 46-minute 10K shape back then. And considering I slogged my guts out about a month ago and only did a 5:51 around the track in the peak of my powers, there's no way I did a 6-minute mile back then. And I forgot to take into account that I ran under an underpass for about 300 meters of that.
Yeah.
So I didn't really consider that. You know, sometimes when you're fresh-faced and you believe everything you hear and you read, you think, oh, I've just run a 5-minute mile. I didn't think it felt that fast, but if Garmin says it was, then it must have been. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, it wasn't, was it? But you don't want to be that guy that says, no, you can't have that PB. But I was that guy to myself. But anyway, me and you did a cool down, didn't we, afterwards?
Yeah.
And a bit of a warm up as well. So we got that's it. You didn't want to do too much distance, did you?
No, because if I'd have done too much, I would have gone over my mileage for the week. So I wanted to stick to what I wanted to do. So yeah, we had a mile warm up and a mile warm down, didn't we?
Yeah. And then I got home. I got the dreaded. Well, it wasn't dreaded because it was like, that was the best. This is brilliant. This has just completely made my day. I got the China flag sent to me from Laura. Which can only mean one thing. She'd had a bit of a pants day at work. So she was like, do you fancy a Chinese? I said, oh, I was already going to ask you if you wanted one.
Yeah.
We're going to try. And I've never had so much support on my Instagram ever in my life than last Saturday night. Because I was like a bit nervous about my long run tomorrow. And I was like, it's carb loading. You'll be fine. Look at all the carbs in that bag. So I had on Sunday I did 28k, which is about 17 mile, and I decided to do a different route that I usually do. I still got a few hills in there, but I took it all steady. I decided to, partly because I didn't know how my belly would react, but I decided not to push anything, and I got through it really quite well. But last Sunday I finally felt like my Socket Endorphin Speed 3s have maybe run their last few miles. Because all of a sudden they just were giving me nothing back. And it just felt like I was just slopping on the pavement. It just felt like I was just like thudding along. Yeah. Along, and I was only going at a steady pace as well, and it wasn't even like I was going uphill on some of these. I mean, it could have been the Chinese, let's be honest. And it, coupled with the fact that I keep seeing everyone buying new shoes, and thought I quite fancy some. So that night I went and bought some new shoes for the first time in 6 months, and I bought the Evo SL, which is the ones that you've got, but I got them in black with the white stripes, and wore them for track. But before that, I did because it's recovery week by now. So Monday, I did an easy 10K, a really nice chilled easy 10K. Tuesday had day off. Wednesday morning only did a 5K hilly run to just up Malverns. And then Wednesday night went to track in my SLs, my Evo SLs. And I thought what I'll do is test them on the track because I don't want to get them muddy. I don't want to get them too dirty yet. And they're just sort of, I know the track is like one big super shoe, so it's not a very accurate test. And I know that's not what they're made for. But then again, I see the fast kids turn up to track every week in Alpha Flies.
Yeah.
And some people are wearing Adios Pro 4s. So it doesn't really matter what you wear on your feet as long as you feel good and you feel stable.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. So I listened to myself and you from last week's about the week before's track session. I decided not to go too quick. And the session was, I decided to do the endurance session, which was 3 laps, which was 1200s at zone 3 with between 60 and 120 seconds off. You could sort of choose what you wanted. And I decided I would do progressively quicker 1200s. So instead of keeping everything at the same pace, I thought this might be the exact right time to just see what this shoe can do. I know it's box fresh and it's, so of course it's going to be quite nice in its first few K, but it felt really good. And my laps, I'll just quickly shout out my laps because I turned off my lap split so I can finally tell you. I started off at a steady pace, which is 8-minute mile in, 5-minute K in. And again, I'm running to pace because I'm in lane 2 and 3 because I'm not feeling like I should be in lane 1 because I was not running as fast as a lot of the people there. So some of my laps are 1,240 meters or 1,220 meters, so slightly longer. But I did 6-minute 12.
What have I told you about?
I know, but I just don't want to get in people's way. I just couldn't be bothered to get in anyone's way.
You're not in their way. If they need to get around you, they have to get around you. You're putting in as much effort, so why should you have to run longer than them?
Well, I wasn't putting in as much effort, I don't think, because the first 3 or 4 reps, I felt like I was jogging in these new shoes. But I decided to just run slightly wider. And the fast kids at track have got an air about them. They've got like a, they've got like, they're there.
Yeah, they need to get rid of that then, don't they?
And they all run in a big pack and you feel like, I should get out of their way.
No.
And I never want to get shouted at track.
They need to curb their ego. That's what they need to do.
Well, yeah, I don't want to be the one.
Everybody's there doing the same thing, putting in the same effort. So why should they have special treatment?
It does make me laugh. They say at track every week, they say, if anyone's new, come and speak to us about track etiquette and we'll let you know. But they never actually stand there and say what track etiquette is, if you know what I mean. And what I think they're saying to new people is, get out the way of the fast people. That's what it feels like. But anyway, I don't want to slag anyone off. So my laps were 6 minutes 12 for the first 1200, 5 minutes 53 for the second, 5:42 for the third, 5:26 for the next, 5:18, and then 5 minutes for the 6th one. And then for the last one, I wanted to try and go sub 40 10K pace. And to my watch anyway, and by now a lot of the people have gone home, so I was in the inside lane. I did it in a 3:58 per K time, and I did 1,210 meters. So I did further, and that was 4:48. So I was pleased with that. And the shoes feel really quite good, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure how they feel at that top end because I felt like I was really working hard. But then again, I was at the end of a, fairly tough track session. So I was feeling like, this is going a little bit harder than I'm working a bit harder than I should be. But yeah, that was a 12K run in total with, I think it was 1,200 times 7. It's about 5K. Well, more than that, isn't it? So it was 8K of effort. So it's a fairly sizable amount, isn't it? And then today, that's brought us to today when I just did the recovery loop with Daisy. And Yeah, 11.75k. So what's that? 7 miles, 8 miles, 7.5 mile. So yeah, it's been a nice recovery week for me so far, and I've just been
Excellent.
Apart from track, I've been taking it nice and easy. It's felt really nice.
Excellent. And are you ready for Sunday, do you think?
I think so. I'm just going to go out there, and I'm going to go out there and use it and treat it like it's a time trial, and treat it how I don't normally treat races. I'm not going to be cautious. I'm going to take some risks, and I'm going to just try and fly as quickly as I can, and try and get as close to 40 as I can. Try and go under 20 for the first 5k. Obviously, that's quite important. And from then, I've just got to hang on and hope that there's a bit of a tailwind to bring me back. And yeah, I think, can I do it? I don't know. My watch is telling me that I can't. My watch is telling me that my 10k prediction is 40:28 and my 5k is 19:12. So yeah, let's see if we can get close to that.
40:28 still a PB.
Be a massive PB, yeah. I'll be happy with 40:54. So 40:55 is the current PB. So yeah, I'm just going to go out hard and maybe bonk, probably positive split, but I'm not going to worry about running the perfect race, because that's not what Bolton's about. I just want to try and run it as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Make mistakes, maybe see what it's really like. And I'm going to be running hard into the wind as well, which I don't quite know how to do. I don't think I've ever really run a race in seriously hard winds, high winds. Have you?
There will. Oh yeah, I've run a few in high winds and it's horrible. But what I was going to say is there's going to be a big pack going for sub 40. So if you can tuck yourself in behind them, they'll be knocking the wind out the way. They'll make it so you won't have a wind to run into. So get yourself in the middle of that pack and just sit there.
Well, I'll probably know, won't I, after the first K, the first lap around the village, I'll probably know. I'll just get a feel for who's running the same sort of time, because there's no pacers as far as, I don't think there is any pacers. And I've got John Broome and Tim Gross who are racing each other to latch onto, because they both want to go and try and do sub 40. As well as other people who I've spoken to who want to try and break 40. So hopefully there'll be a big bunch of us, and we can all drag each other over the line.
Yeah. But as I say, sit in that pack, sit behind people, don't go to the front of the pack, because if there's big headwinds, it's just going to sap the life out of you before you've even got halfway.
But no one's going to want to do all the work, are they? So I wonder if it will be quite slow to go out.
Yeah, but they know that if they want to break 40, they're going to have to go out at pace.
Yeah, someone's going to
have to go out at that pace. Someone's got to take it on. Just make sure it's not you.
Do the decent thing and let someone else do the hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing, I've never had such amount of Instagram messages, probably more so than when I've got a PB or anything, than what shall I wear, my Alpha Flies or my Takumi Sen10s.
And what are you going for?
When I tell you it's been 50-50, that is not an exaggeration. Everyone is so polarized one way or the other. It's such a polarizing topic, because there are so many Alpha Fly fans and so many Takumi fans. And I don't know. Every time I've worn both those shoes, apart from one, the Takumi Sen10s, apart from one bad race I did in Worcester in August last year, I've PB'd in both shoes in every race I've worn. The 5 and the 10Ks obviously is a sweet spot for the Takumi Sen10s, and the Alpha Flies, the halves and the marathons and the long runs. But some people have been saying, including Leggett Lee, whose opinion I value dearly, has said to me, Alphas are do-it-all shoes. Just get them on your feet, and just trust the power. Trust what you've got under your feet. because that's what he did in Telford, and it was his first run for ages. And he said he just cruised. And then I've had other people, including Andy Rayner, the FOD runner, said go with the Takumis. And so many people have been saying, and it's so, I wish I'd never asked the question, to be honest, because I'm now even more confused on what to wear. So basically, do I play it safe or take a risk? Play it safe and wear the Takumis, which I know are tried and tested, or the Alphas. And I won't decide. I'm going to take them both with me, and I won't decide until Sunday morning. I don't think I will. So I can't even tell you. And I know what you'll say. I know which way you'll lean.
Yes, you do know which way I'll lean, but I'll also say, if you feel like the Alphas are going to do you well and you want to test them out for the 10K, why not? You know that the Takumis are tried and tested. You know that they're going to do a good job over 10K.
Yeah.
So it's all whether you want to roll that dice and try something out that's new.
Yeah.
And if you want to give them a go, give them a go. If you feel like that's the right decision, go with your gut. But
the Takumis, man, they're so
you know
slick, aren't they?
If it was me making the decision for me, you know which way I'd go every single time. But it's not me making the decision this time.
Yeah.
So my decision would be 100% go for the Takumis, but it's the unknown, isn't it? What if you put those Alphas on your feet and you fly?
And I do seem to run well in them as well. But
have you done much stuff at pace in them?
No. I don't think I've run faster than marathon pace in them. The half marathon pace. Okay. So that's the unknown that I haven't discovered. Yeah. And we see Cole Healy the other day, didn't we, at Worcester Woods Parkrun? And he wears Alphas for his 5Ks.
Yeah.
For his tempo runs, and like so many people, would swear by the Alpha Flies for the shorter distance as well as the longer distance. My only thing is, if it's wet, which I think it will be, and I get wet feet, I think those Alpha Flies will feel sludgier than the Takumis. They'll feel heavier because there's more of them. They're more voluminous. So I think they'll feel heavier on my feet, and I'll feel a little bit more clumpy and a bit more chunky. But I don't know. I've got a lot of things to think about. But at the end of the day, it's just my own stupid overthinking brain that struggles to make a decision. It's not really a big deal, really. And to be honest, looking at the weather forecast, I could wear Ferraris on my feet and it probably won't matter when you're running into 50-mile-an-hour winds. It might not make that much difference. And another thing I am thinking as well, if the race goes quite badly, or even worse, if it goes almost amazingly, I think I might book another 10K in. Because remember, Leeds isn't my number one A race of the year. Yeah. So I don't mind. So I'm thinking of another 10K, this spring, if I can get my hands on one. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm excited to race this Sunday. I'm excited to see how I go. As I always say, I hate 10Ks because it's just two stacked 5Ks, and they're bad enough. One 5K is bad enough.
Yeah.
Because you're well beyond your threshold, aren't you, for a long time? So yeah, it's going to be painful, but yeah, I'm actually genuinely excited for this one. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Good. Yeah, just get out there and go for it.
Yeah, I will.
Good. Yeah. So this week's training, it started off really well. As we say, we went down to Worcester Woods on Saturday. And I did go out and say, right, I'm just going to run this marathon pace because it was really wet and muddy. I thought I'm not going to run too quick. So set off and I ran the first mile exactly to the pace I wanted to run, and then just got progressively faster as I went through the parkrun, partly because there was people slightly up ahead and there was people to chase and go and pass. And so, yeah, I slowly got quicker and I ended up running 19:12, which was all right.
What did your Chorus log you at, by the way? Did you get the 3.1 for that?
No, I don't think I got the full 3.1 miles. I think I was just short.
Right.
Let me have a look.
Because I've done Worcester Woods before, and obviously, I work in K's. I've done 5.1 before,
Yeah.
so I've been over, but I was
So
drastically under on this one.
I did 3.06. So
Right.
close. But if you have a
Yeah.
look at my map is very accurate compared to yours.
It's quite tidy, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, mine wasn't as off as yours was.
Yeah.
Mine was 0.04 miles off being the full distance. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I came in at 19:12. So that was pretty good. Enjoyed that. And then Sunday, I decided to do my first actual marathon pace session on a Sunday, because all the other runs before that had either been steady runs because of a Saturday effort at cross country the day before, or it was Warwick Half. So because of that, this was the first week that I was actually doing a marathon pace session on a Sunday. So what I decided to do was 16 mile in total, 3 miles up, and then after that 3 miles, I did 6 lots of 1 mile at target marathon pace, 1 mile float, and then did 2 miles down afterwards. So 16 miles in total with those 6 miles at target marathon pace. And I tried to do my floats as well. I wanted to do my floats at around 7 minutes a mile, so just over 30 seconds slower per mile for the floats. But
So is your float pace, is it faster than your steady pace,
yes,
but slower, obviously, than marathon pace?
yes. So my float pace, I'd say my steady pace now is around 7:15 a mile. And I was trying to have my floats at about 7 minutes a mile.
With you, okay.
So yeah, that it's still a good pace, but it's not like tempo.
Target.
It's easing off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I managed to run every single one of my floats too quick. And I ran most of my marathon pace miles too quick as well. But the first marathon pace mile did have quite a bit of downhill in it, so that's a bit of a cheaty mile. And the 6th marathon pace mile had quite a bit of downhill as well. I'd say about half of it was downhill. So yeah, that was a bit cheaty as well. So I did my first marathon pace mile at 6:20, and then did 6:42 for the float, and then a 6:21 for the on and 6:40 for the off, a 6:18 for the on and a 6:46 for the off, 6:24 for the on, 6:44 for the off, 6:24 for the on, 6:45 for the off, and then a 6:16 for the last marathon pace one. So that was 10 seconds too quick. And then did for my warm down, basically did another 2 float miles, did a 6:50 and a 6:37.
Aiming for 7:15s.
Yeah. Well, no, I was aiming for 7s. I was aiming for 7s.
Was it?
Yeah. So they were all a bit too quick. But
so quick question then, when you're doing your marathon pace, the ones that you're really focusing on, your ons, what happens when you come up against a hill, especially a hill that's a little bit tasty?
I still try to do the marathon pace. Instead of effort, I still try to keep pace, like time wise, because I don't know why. I probably should work it to marathon effort rather than pace, but I like knowing that I can still hit those paces even though I'm hitting a hill or something. So because across that run, there was 1,142 foot of elevation gain across that 16 mile. So it was quite hilly route, but averaged 6:43 a mile for the 16 mile. so below 3-hour pace. So
Nice.
yeah, pretty pleased with that.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that was my first run out in the Evo SL.
Yep.
So that was the first time I got them out the box, and they felt great at easy and tempo, so marathon pace, speed. I think that's their perfect pace for that shoe.
Yeah.
They felt so smooth through that pace. Yeah, lovely. Light Strike Pro without the rods and without that stiffness just felt fantastic. So
I think they're going to replace my Sock Endorsement Speed 3s because they feel very similar to them. And they also actually feel similar, I think. Again, don't quote me on this because I've only worn them once around a track. But I think they feel similar to my Invincibles as well. My Invincible 2s, my Nike Invincible 2s, which I loved, and I put 1,000K in them. So, yeah, quite stable underfoot, quite cushioned, quite squishy, but also quite poppy when you need a bit of speed.
And the upper's really comfortable as well.
Yeah, and surprisingly lightweight.
Yeah,
so lightweight. Yeah.
But I'm really impressed with them. I thought they were fantastic on that run. And like you said about your decision for shoe on Sunday, I don't think I've ever had that many Instagram messages or Strava messages asking about the shoes and asking what they were like. It just everybody was going, oh, what were they like? What they like compared to the Boston 12s? What they like compared to these? Blah blah blah. Yeah, mad.
I was at track on Wednesday night, and someone I don't know came up and asked me about the shoes and what they're like and where'd you get them from, and what colorways did you find them in, and so they are a conversation starter for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, fantastic. I really loved running in them. And then looking back at it, this is possibly where my week has gone awry.
Right.
Because obviously I ran 16 miles at 6:43 a mile average on the Sunday. And then because of cross country on tomorrow, I was trying to front load the week with my mileage so I could have an easier Thursday and couple of days either side ready for Saturday to race cross country. But this week I was aiming to hit 75 mile. So by doing that, I did on Monday, I did 8 miles up to my shop, easy. And I've even put on my Strava here, left leg feels a bit poop. And then after I'd finished at the shop at 8:45 in the evening, pitch black down that road again, I ran back and did 8 miles back. So that was 16 miles on the Monday after I'd done 16 miles on the Sunday. And then on the Tuesday, in the morning, I ran 8 miles down to the lake and back. And then ran 3.5 miles down to session and warm up before we did the session. And then Tuesday's session was a monster session. It's one of the toughest ones we do, I think. And it's the Forge Mill Loop. And we go alternating directions, but the first half of either direction that you go is all uphill. And when you get maybe a third of the way through, it gets steep uphill. And then once you hit the top, it's steep downhill and then gradual downhill to the finish again. And it's just under 1,200 meters, the loop. And we did 7 times the 1,200 meter loop off about 175 meters jog to a lamppost and back before we set off on the next one. And what was the overall elevation? So over the session, we did 538 foot of elevation, and that was over 5.8 mile, so just under 6 mile, and we did 538 foot. So it was fairly intense, but I wasn't pushing it.
Is that by the Needle Museum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know that part of the world. Yeah, it's quite hilly, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, I wasn't pushing it 100% because I was like, I don't want to overdo it, but I was still pushing. And I ended up doing averaging 6:07 a mile for the first one, then 6:07 for the next one, 6:15, 6:12, 6:18, 6:11, and 6:14. So I was doing like the 1,200 meters in about 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a decent session. You felt knackered at the end, but at the end of that session, I was like, yeah, my leg's not good. I probably pushed it a bit too much on that. But then I did 2 3/4 miles back to the gym and round the track to top up. Then did 30 minutes on the cross trainer, and then did my S&C for half an hour, and then did just over 2.5 miles back home. So by the end of Tuesday, I'd already run 39 mile in 2 days after running 16 miles on the Sunday, because I did a nearly 23 mile day on the Tuesday. So because trying to front load the week, I think that's where I've really screwed my leg up.
It's funny, isn't it? Because last week you were saying, when I said, should I do my long run in the week? Because I've got my race on Sunday.
Yeah.
The body, I get, your body is just can't sometimes handle this amount that you ask of it. Maybe.
So possibly I should have done what you're going to do, and I should have just done my normal distance throughout the week and then gone and run cross country and maybe did a little bit when I got home on the Saturday evening before I did my Sunday long run, just to get the mileage in. But no, I was trying to front load the week, and I messed myself up. But there we go. And then yesterday, because my leg didn't feel great, but I thought I'm going to see how it is, and I ended up I ran 9 1/4 mile in total, but my leg just got progressively worse. Just got more and more painful throughout the run, but then got to the gym, got on the cross trainer, and my leg loosened up, and I thought, yeah, this is great. Did my S&C, and then when I tried to run home, just was nope, this ain't happening.
Yeah.
So what should have been a really good week, because it started really well with that Sunday long run. I was well happy with how I ran that. Yeah, my leg didn't feel great during the run, but it didn't feel too bad. I was running through it and running marathon pace quite well.
Yeah.
But I think I've just done too much at the start of the week, and done myself a mischief.
What day did you cut your hair?
Today.
Oh, so it can't have been that then.
No, I know.
So it's for this time. You can't blame it on that.
Exactly. No, I can't. Yeah.
Well, that is a shame. Do you know, I've just thought while you were talking who you remind me of, and before he shaves his head, you resemble Walter White a little bit from Breaking Bad, which is a pretty cool look, I think. With the tash, and the dark hair, it looks quite cool. We've got an email to read out, and I think because of its content, it's aimed. Well, it's not aimed towards more of you, but I think you will have a better take on it than me. So this is from Julian Livesey, and he said, "Hello, chaps. I have a mystery for you to solve for me. I've just been watching Logan Rees power to an impressive victory at the Leeds Cross Challenge. He took the senior men's title in a time of 26 minutes exactly. But here's the thing. The distance was shown on screen as 10K. The commentator said the course was actually measured at 10.2. I know cross-country types are made of strong stuff, but 10K in 26 minutes? I'm definitely not imagining it. Take a look at his Run Britain ranking. The race result is listed 10.2K in 26 minutes flat. How? Thanks and regards, Julian. That's incredibly quick, isn't it?
Yes. So where was that? The what cross challenge was it? Leeds.
Leeds, yeah.
I'm gonna have a quick look because what I do know is
sorry to keep yawning.
Cross country can sometimes be measured wrong, or can be they can say it's a particular distance and it's not, because a lot of the time, like Birmingham League, all of the races should be 10K.
Yeah.
But sometimes you end up running 6 mile, so it's less than 10K. Sometimes you end up running 6.5 mile, so it's more than 10K. So I don't know how they're definitely measuring these courses, but if you look at my Power of 10 or my Run Britain rankings, it's got the cross countries down at 10K, but then you go and look at my Strava and the Strava's nowhere near 10K, or it's over 10K and you've been given that time for that distance because that's what they've declared it as. But whether it actually is or not, I don't know. But let's have a look.
And I only assume that it's a circular route as well. It's laps, so it can't be. It's all downhill. It can't be a point-to-point thing, can it? Because that could maybe explain it. But
so it says here, Reese and James Kingston were locked in a battle for long stages of the 10.2 kilometer course, with Jack Miller sticking with them for the majority until the duo broke away in the last loop. So it's saying it's 10.2 course on the British Athletics website, but if he's run 26 minutes, that's ridiculous for 10.2K, isn't it?
On mud as well.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Where is it? Senior men. Yeah, 26 minutes exactly. I don't know if I can explain that. That's pretty odd.
What's the road 10K world record, and what's the indoors world record? It's nowhere near that.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I think it's slower than 26 minutes. It's got to be. Road 10K world record.
Because is a road faster?
The world record for the 10K is 26 minutes 24 seconds.
Yeah. So
Logan. He's just broke the 10K world record on cross country. So obviously the distance is wrong.
It's got to be,
because if he's running 26 minutes, it can't be 10.2K. But as I say, there are lots of races where they claim it to be a particular distance and it's nowhere near.
I should have said the title of the email from Julian is new 10-kilometer world record. I didn't miss that bit.
Brilliant. Let me have a look on my my Run Britain rankings. Come on, load. Sorry, I just want to see if the latest cross country Birmingham League Division 1. When was that?
What are you trying to find out? What the fastest this
8th of Feb. That was our last race, wasn't it?
Sounds likely. 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And it says the race was 9.707K. How they've measured it that accurate, I do not know. 9.707K. And then the one before was 9.5K. The one before was 6.1 miles. And this is on the rankings. This is what they've declared it at. So some of the races are declaring it as miles. Some of them are declaring it as K. And they're all different. And they're all supposed to be 10K. So,
yeah.
I
So
don't
the
know.
moral of the story is, unless it's on a track, you can never really be 100% sure of the distance you've run.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because especially if you think about it, cross country as well, if it's up and down hills, are they taking into consideration the length of the hill going up, or are they just distance looking down like a map? Because if you think about it, if you look at a mile on a map, it's a mile from A to B if it's completely flat. But if it's a hilly course, it might be longer than a mile, because you're going distance up and you're going distance down without going further forward. So
so that
might have something to do with it.
That is a quicker way to get from A to B, isn't it? We're going flat, but if you go up and over, that is you've added distance.
So are they measuring the hills when it? Yeah, I don't know.
It's a good observation. Yeah,
I really don't know. Yeah, but anyway, that's stumped us. That's stumped us.
Yeah, good email. But that's the only one we had this week.
If anybody knows why that has happened and why they've declared it as 10.2K with a world record time, let us know, because that's mental. But
strange one. Have we got enough time to go through a few comments, or should we leave until next week?
No, we got a few comments from last one, so we'll just go through them quickly. Cool. So first one was from Christopher Hayden, who I think was at Warwick running. He was one of the Massey Ferguson runners.
Massey Ferguson,
he said, well done both on the PBs at Warwick. I didn't manage a PB myself, although it was my second fastest half and best for 2 years since Belfast. So awesome. Good work, Chris. I'm taking it as a positive sign for London Landmarks half marathon and Cov, so Coventry, in April, and continuing with at least one weekly hilly run and speed work, as who knew that works.
I swear by that.
Yeah. Oh, and Andy, for a split second, I thought you were going to get Brett to do it, sir. It's on Andrew in a Brummie accent on the end sequence of your video.
I think we should. I think I need to redo it. I think we need to redo it. Yeah.
Watching your video, I chuckled about that, because you, as I say that, as you're going across the finish line, you start laughing as you're going across the finish line. So you're in the middle of pushing as hard as you possibly can, and there's me at the end just to make you laugh as you cross the finish line.
And your little partridge voice as well. I couldn't hold it together.
Brilliant. Next one's from Only Runs, and he says, bonus episode idea: running the Nazca lines, alien doodles, or creative farming. And I had to have a look at what those were, what the Nazca lines were, but I did manage to Google it, and they are shapes and drawings. Yeah, shapes and drawings. They're called geoglyphs, and there's over 700 of them that are made in the soil in the Nazca Desert in southern Peru, and they were created between 500 BC and 500 AD. So, that's quite impressive. And when you have a look at some of them, they are quite crazy. So that's one of them.
How mental is that? That's like, and how old do they say they are? Over 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were made between 500 BC and 500 AD. So there was 1,000-year period when these might have been made, but over 2,000 years ago.
How cool is that?
Check out the monkey.
That is amazing. So what's the scale of these things? Do you know how big they are?
Good question.
Because back in their day, they're making them to be seen from space. They're making them to be seen from above.
Basically, yes, they are. Yeah,
you
they're
need
huge.
you need a drone to really see them in all their glory. But drones haven't been invented for over 2,000 years.
Yeah. It doesn't actually say sizes on any of the photos. But yeah, they look like they're massive.
Yeah.
There we go. So they're covering an area of nearly 1,000 square kilometers with about 300 different figures. So there's 300 drawings in 1,000 square kilometers.
That's ridiculous. Some of them are
they're pretty
massive
big.
then.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're pretty big.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
How old is Neil Buchanan?
This is an heart attack. This is an heart attack.
Could he have been involved?
He's made it out of some PE kit out of the cupboard. Put some cones down and some like leftover PE kit from the kids who have forgotten their kit. Brilliant. But yeah, there we go. So that could be the next chat about aliens on one of the episodes.
Bonus episode, yeah.
And then finally was the Ayrshire runner, and they say, congrats on the Warwick PB, guys. Brett's recent shoe purchase inspired me to do the same. I can't wait to try out the new Pro 4s, which will be my Manchester Marathon shoe. I've got a local 10K and also the Carlisle half in March to give them a spin beforehand, but they will be kept in the box until then. Keep up the good work, lads. Yes, that is the way to do it. Yes, keep them in the box and just bring them out for those couple of tune-up races or couple of tune-up runs, and then when the big day comes, they are all go and they feel as fresh as a daisy, and you get all of the benefit from them on that day.
I think that is a big thing about your race day shoes, is just keeping them to one side.
Yeah, not being tempted to use them too much.
Yeah, and you put them on race day and you feel like you're floating a bit before you've even started running. You just feel a bit of something. Because I'm not really one for training. Oh, no, I'm about to eat my words here. In super shoes, because actually I do use my Vaporfly sometimes for track and occasionally on long runs. But on the whole, carbons sometimes make me, they give me my calves, they make me, from the knee down, they make me feel a bit janky. So I don't know why. I don't wear my carbons maybe once every 3 weeks or something like that, once every 2 weeks.
I don't think I've ever done an actual proper session in carbon shoes. I've done them in Takumis, but they're with glass fiber rods, aren't they? And the Boston 12s are glass fiber rods as well.
Yeah.
But the carbon shoes, the Pro 3s and the Pro 2s, I don't think I've ever actually done a session in them.
If I see someone on Sunday, I promise you, I will say ka-chow if I see anyone wearing the Adios 9s. Because I wonder if some people are going back to that. I mean, it's before my time as a runner, but that racing flat feel, which I never really experienced.
Actually, but feeling the road underneath your feet.
But I watched the Ben Parks review on it, and he's right. He said people are getting a bit fed up now of having no ground contact feel, and they kind of long for that low stack and that feeling of
this feel.
Yeah, I've got your old Adioses on.
Yeah,
OG Londons.
Yeah, the Adios 3s. Yeah.
So I wonder if anybody wearing the Adios 9s.
Yeah, be interesting.
Yeah.
Right. So last thing to do, as always, is the Strava segment.
I always feel a bit weird when you sort of lean in. I feel like you're invading my space a little bit. I sort of lean back.
So last week's leaderboard on our Strava group is... So first place on distance was Ryan Baker from Rayleigh's Adventures, and he ran 83.9 miles. I would have topped that up, Ryan. You can't run 0.9 miles. You got to top that up to 84. Come on. And then second was Matt Hember on 74.7 miles. And third was Steve Turner with 74.6 miles. And then for climbing, our leader was Nick Ireland, and he ran 5,282 foot of elevation. Stephen Smith was second with 5,187 foot. And third was Brett Elesmore. So yeah, I was on the leaderboard for the climbing with 4,505 foot. Yeah, and then our top three ladies. First place was Chloe Hamard with 60 miles on the nose. So I think she planned that because she works in kilometers. So she must have planned that. No, because 100 kilometers is 62 miles. And she's run exactly 60. So good work there, Chloe. Well done.
Yeah. Well done.
Second place was Victoria Lee with 57.3. And third place was Aveen D with 49.3 miles. So
brilliant.
Great work from everybody once again. And yeah, I was hoping to get up into the top 3 this week, but that ain't going to happen.
More chance of me doing it in there.
Yeah. But there we go. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. Have you got anything else that you can think of?
No, I don't think so. I think we're all done and dusted for another week.
Excellent. Right, we shall leave it there then. So, thank you so much for watching or listening, and we will see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. I've got my hand on my face. Cheers, guys. Is that even? Oh, it's not even right. There you go.